Uncover the timeless wisdom of quotes and life lessons as we engage in a thought-provoking conversation with the greatest intellects of the past. And who better to converse with than the visionary philosopher Alan Watts? The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. The meaning of life is just to be alive. It is so plain and so obvious and so simple, and yet everybody rushes around in a great panic as if it were necessary to achieve something beyond themselves. We do not come into this world, we come out of it, as leaves from a tree. Trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth. No valid plans for the future can be made by those who have no capacity for living now. The only Zen you find on the tops of mountains is the Zen you bring up there. We seldom realize, for example, that our most private thoughts and emotions are not actually our own. But I'll tell you what hermits realize. If you go off into a far, far forest and get very quiet, you'll come to understand that you're connected with everything. To have faith is to trust yourself to the water. When you swim, you don't grab hold of the water because if you do, you will sink and drown. Instead, you relax and float. The only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once. The more a thing tends to be permanent, the more it tends to be lifeless. To travel is to be alive, but to get somewhere is to be dead. For as our own proverb says, to travel well is better than to arrive. You and I are all as much continuous with the physical universe as a wave is continuous with the ocean. What I am really saying is that you don't need to do anything, because if you see yourself in the correct way, you are all as much extraordinary phenomenon of nature as trees, clouds, the patterns in running water, the flickering of fire, the arrangement of the stars, and the form of a galaxy. The only thing that ultimately matters is to live with an open heart. Paradoxical as it may seem, the purposeful life has no content, no point. It hurries on and misses everything. Not hurrying, the purposeless life misses nothing, for it is only when there is no goal and no rush that the human senses are fully open to receive the world. Man suffers only because he takes seriously what the gods made for fun. But the attitude of faith is to let go and become open to truth, whatever it might turn out to be. Stay in the center, and you will be ready to move in any direction. This is the real secret of life, to be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and now. And instead of calling it work, realize it is play. Problems that remain persistently insoluble should always be suspected as questions asked in the wrong way. The ego is a social institution with no physical reality. The ego is simply your symbol of yourself. We cannot be more sensitive to pleasure without being more sensitive to pain. We are living in a culture entirely hypnotized by the illusion of time. The mystery of life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Life requires no future to complete itself, nor explanation to justify itself. In this moment it is finished. The art of living is neither careless drifting on the one hand, nor fearful clinging on the other. Every intelligent individual wants to know what makes him tick, and yet is at once fascinated and frustrated by the fact that oneself is the most difficult of all things to know. I have realized that the past and future are real illusions, that they exist in the present, which is what there is and all there is.